How do you move a 6 million-ton mountain with nothing but human hands? No cranes, no computers, no machines.
And yet, over 4,500 years ago, right here on the edge of the Sahara Desert, someone did exactly that. Today, we're going back, all the way back to 2560 BC, to the single greatest construction project in the history of the human race. I'm going to show you what the Great Pyramid actually looked like when it was being built, the sounds, the sweat, the scale, and the secrets that engineers still cannot fully explain today. But here's the question nobody asks: who actually built it? Because the answer might completely change everything you think you know. It's dawn on the Giza Plateau. The year is 2560 BC. The sun is rising over the Nile, and stretching as far as the eye can see, 20,000 workers are already moving. This is not chaos. This is a city. A temporary city built entirely for one purpose: to carry a god into eternity. The pharaoh's name is Khufu, and he has ordered the construction of something the world has never seen before, and frankly, has never seen since. A tomb so massive, so precisely engineered, that when Napoleon's surveyors measured it in 1798, they calculated there was enough stone to build a wall 3 meters high around the entire country of France. Let that land for a moment. 2.3 million individual stone blocks, the lightest weighing 2.5 tons, the heaviest 80 tons, dragged from quarries over 800 kilometers away. And Khufu wanted it finished in 20 years. That means every single day for 2 decades, workers had to cut, transport, and place approximately 340 blocks, every single day. Now, this is where history gets interesting. For centuries, the story told was that the pyramids were built by slaves, hundreds of thousands of them, whipped and broken under a tyrant's son. That story is wrong. In 1990, an archaeologist named Zahi Hawass discovered something extraordinary right here at Giza, a workers' village, and what he found inside turned the entire slave narrative on its head. These workers had bakeries, they had breweries, they received medical care. Archaeologists found healed bone fractures, evidence of surgical amputations that patients survived. They were paid in bread, beer, and meat, wages that by ancient standards were considered generous. These were not slaves. These were skilled laborers, engineers, stone cutters, boat operators, ramp builders, organized into teams named like Friends of Khufu and Drunkards of Menkaure. I did not make that up. These men had pride in what they were building. They signed their work. Graffiti discovered inside the pyramid's internal chambers reads, "The gang, they are vigorous." 4,500 years later, and we still know their attitude. Now, here's the part that keeps engineers awake at night. How did they do it? The Great Pyramid stands 146 meters tall. It covers an area of 53,000 square meters, and its base is level to within just 2.1 centimeters across the entire structure. Modern laser leveling technology struggles to match that precision. The leading theory today involves massive mud brick ramps, either a single straight ramp extending outward from the pyramid, or a spiraling ramp that wrapped around the structure as it rose. Workers would pour water onto the sand in front of sledges carrying the stone blocks. Wet sand reduces friction dramatically, a discovery confirmed by Egyptian wall paintings showing exactly this technique. But here's the open question, the one engineers have argued about for 200 years. The ramp theory works beautifully for the lower levels, but as the pyramid gets taller, as you approach the top, the ramp itself would need to be longer than the pyramid is tall just to maintain a manageable angle. At the upper levels, a single straight ramp would have required more material to build than the pyramid itself. So how did they get those final stones to the top? We'll come back to that. Year 1. The plateau is cleared. The base is leveled with extraordinary precision using water channels cut into the bedrock, a natural spirit level on a massive scale. Year 5. The lower courses are complete. The pyramid is still relatively flat, but already it dominates the horizon for miles in every direction. Year 10. It is now taller than any structure in the ancient world. Workers begin to disappear from the lower ramps as the logistics shift entirely upward. Year 15. The king's chamber is sealed inside the heart of the pyramid. Granite blocks weighing up to 80 tons, transported by boat down the Nile from Aswan, over 800 kilometers away. Think about what it took to move a single 80-ton block of granite across a river, over desert terrain, and then lift it into the precise center of a structure already 80 meters tall, with ropes and wood and human muscle. Year 20. The final casing stones are placed. White Tura limestone polished to a mirror finish covers every surface from base to peak. The pyramid does not look gray and weathered as we see it today. It blazes. It blinds. Ancient texts describe it as visible from the Mediterranean, over 200 kilometers away, catching the sun like a second star rising from the desert. This is what Khufu saw. So, back to the question we left open. How did they raise those final stones to the summit? In 2017, a French architect named Jean-Pierre Houdin proposed a theory that has quietly gained serious traction among engineers and Egyptologists. He believes there was a second ramp, an internal spiral ramp, built inside the pyramid itself, used specifically for the upper levels. And here's what makes this extraordinary. A 3D infrared scan of the pyramid's interior revealed anomalies, voids, and passages in exactly the positions his theory predicted. We haven't solved it completely, but for the first time in history, we are close. Narrator, direct to camera, powerful and slow. Here is what I want you to take away from this. The Great Pyramid was not built by gods, it was not built by slaves, and it was not built by aliens broken under a tyrant's whip. It was built by people. Organized, skilled, proud people who showed up every single morning for 20 years in 50-degree desert heat and did something that the entire modern world still cannot fully explain today. The drunkards of Menkaure, whoever they were, built something that outlasted every empire, every language, and every civilization that has risen since. 4,500 years later, their work is still standing, and that is what it means to build for eternity.